Hi, welcome to SideBar The Show. Our guest today is Kubla, a fantastic Toronto artist who just released a single called Running Loose in February. He's actually going to be playing with us in our live event in April, but we'll get to that later. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Nice.
So we're going to hop to our first drink here, which is from the Great Lakes Brewery. This is their Burst Pale Ale. That's this one. Cheers.
Cheers.
I love the hazy ones.
Yeah, it really reminds me of where I come from. There's a lot of breweries that make really hazy beer. Like, that's
Right.
just what they're into.
I feel like it is a West Coast Victoria thing to have
Totally.
lots of like hazy drinks, which
Totally.
is perfect for like a cold surfing day.
Precisely. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Which is all you get.
Yeah, amazing. So my first question is, I know your grandfather used to read you Greek myths and Chinese tales. Has that inspired any of your songwriting?
Yeah, hugely. I don't know where I wrote that, but my grandfather I would call Papus, which I think is the Greek way of saying it, and he spoke something like 11 languages, and so he would read us all these myths and all these tales, and that was like my relationship with him up until he died when I was like 6, and I think that it really kind of sent me along a path of kind of being like a weird, sort of more maybe thoughtful, pretentious intellectual child,
Right.
which kind of set me apart a little bit and then made me want to write songs.
Yeah.
So I think that the content of it also shows up in my songs. Like the title of my next project is called Too Close to the Sun.
Which is Icarus.
Which is Icarus. And so it kind of ties in. I think I'll play that later too.
Yeah, nice. So it's nice, it's kind of all coming together, the inspirations of the past into the future.
Exactly. I mean, I think that art, you kind of are, your goal is to bring back your childhood into the world. So
Right.
yeah, it's nice.
Great.
Yeah.
So my next question is, I know your mom is in a band with your uncle, the Ecclestons?
Ecclestons.
Ecclestons. I knew I was like probably get it wrong.
yeah.
He'll correct me. Were you involved in any of those? I saw a child in one of their music videos back in the day. I was like, is that him? Not sure. Were you involved in any of those projects?
Yeah, vaguely. It was really cool growing up with musician parents because they would film like music videos all the time. And they weren't like aiming for big time or anything. Like they were just
it was fun.
Parents having fun, like playing music together. And yeah, I wasn't really heavily involved, but yeah. They're
So you were minorly involved in the background. Did you kind of feel like it inspired you, any of the experiences you had watching it as a kid? Now you're making your own music videos and stuff now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say it was kind of a cautionary tale, in a huge way, watching your parents pursue music, because especially watching them pursue music as parents, because as parents you have so many responsibilities, and music, to be successful in music, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's definitely one thing I've heard through all these interviews is music takes time and commitment.
Lots of it.
You have to go down before you go up.
Exactly.
Unless you get famous on TikTok.
Yeah. But even then, who knows what
Even
happens?
then,
That's not the
You never know what's going on behind the scenes before you get famous.
And TikTok hasn't been a thing for very long, so we don't know what happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine, what if your parents had TikTok?
Yeah, no,
Who knows?
I have no idea what
They would be
like.
frustrated.
Yeah, they would be frustrated. Yeah.
Great. So I know you were in a program in high school called like Vic High Band, and it led you to the Sex Panthers, Electric Sex Panthers, with your brother.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that project?
Yeah, so the Big High R&B band was a hugely important thing in my life because I was in this program in school that would have these socials, because there's like programs at other schools. It was kind of like a kids that did well academically but didn't want to have too much classwork because they had a bunch of extracurricular stuff.
Yeah.
And so,
which is more important.
It's way more important, exactly. And so they played our dances, this band, and I was like, this is the best shit ever. Like, they played Motown and stuff like that. And it was like a professional program. So that kind of started off my entire career as an idea, because I was taught how to like do this thing professionally. And when I decided to really pursue music, which was after a year that I'd done some acting, I kind of put together this band that I jokingly called Electric Sex Panther, and we put on a night at Canoe Brew Pub in Victoria, which is no longer there, and it became the most popular night in Victoria for like 3 years straight. It was like a huge thing. And so
it's your like residency.
Exactly. It was like our big residency, and there was like 100 people around the block every week, and it was my first real taste of like what being like what being actually successful feels like when
Right.
people are actually coming in the door and doing the
To
thing.
see you consistently.
Exactly. Yeah, and just to be a part of culture, it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Electric Sex Panther. I know, like Sex Panther. Was that any relation to the Anchorman?
I think so, because the reason the name came about is because I was in another band that ended up being called the New Souls, and we were trying to figure out a name, and Electric Sex Panther was the name that the bass player floated, and I think he was really into the Anchorman kind of Will Ferrell thing at that time, and so I just thought it was funny. I actually hadn't really seen the movie,
Right.
and so I just thought it was hilarious to call a band Electric Sex
Yeah.
Panther, and that's
They
just
play
how
your
it
gig 60% of the time, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Yep. It's made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good.
Yeah, I've now seen it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
The next bit, I want to talk about time benders. Can you tell us a little bit about time benders?
Yeah. Well, as a musician, you have to do a bunch of different gigs to make money. Like some people teach, some people play corporate gigs, some people do all kinds of things. And I kind of had this background in acting and theater, as well as music. And so I joined this band that had been around for like 25 years that was started by like this insane dude on Vancouver Island named Tom Watson.
Shout out Tom Watson.
Shout out Tom Watson, who created this band that was like pop music throughout the 20th century. So we started in like the 50s and went all the way to like now. And he started the band in like the year I was born, I think. It was like 1994. And so when he did it, he was doing like a full like they were doing like Tina Turner drag costumes. They were doing like ABBA drag. It was just like a crazy show. And then by the time I joined the band, it was like none of the original members. And we were just like kind of going through the motions of what they had previously done.
Right.
It was really funny because it paid the bills really nice.
Yeah.
And it was a really good time. And the band's amazing. Shout out Aaron, Thomas, Allegra, Brian.
Shout out those people.
Shout out Brendan, Vaughn. And all those people kind of were my mentors, hugely professionally, because they were all amazing musicians and so much older than me. So yeah, it was great.
So I guess it's almost a program, like as people went out and into the band, is like the older people would teach the younger people. They would graduate out of the program, and then you're now the older people.
So unofficially, because now the band still exists, but it's all young people now.
Right.
So like before, I was like 23 when I joined the band, and everyone else was like 36.
Yeah.
So I was like, except for Allegra was like 27. But I experienced a way different thing, I think, than most people did in that band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I saw some clips. We'll throw one up.
Look out! Pop, it's showtime. Showtime. Guess who's back again?
It was very, very interesting.
Nice. Yeah, so interesting.
All right. So we're going to go into our second drink here, which is also from Great Lakes Brewery. It's their premium lager. It's their classic, I think, go-to beverage. So cheers.
I'm a big lager guy.
Well, you like this
beer,
one.
It's good.
Yeah. That's just like a beer's beer.
That's a beer's beer. That's
It's
a
a
beery
nice
beer.
fancy lager.
That's great.
Awesome. So we're going to our next bit, which we call Backstage Pass, where we went backstage on your social media and your Twitter this time and found some posts that we'd like some more
Amazing.
information on. So this is the first one.
It seems hard. I'm thankful I'm not driving a caravan. Good people at WestJet do not crack. They should.
Can you tell us a little bit about this maybe WestJet horror story that went down?
That was in 2018.
This was July 6th, 2018.
I think that I had a tendency to tweet only when I was like in airports or on planes, and God, where would I have been going in 2018? I have no idea where I was going.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I was somewhere,
Yeah.
but I was mad at the airline. I don't know.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's easy to get mad at it.
It is. It's also easy to just like scream into the abyss.
Yeah.
Like I probably didn't think anything of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have a travel mode? I know like my father has a big travel mode. Anytime he's traveling, he'll just instantly get angrier at everything.
Right.
Just like slightly more pissed off because he's rushed. You know, like he's got to go here, he's got to go there.
I like this. That's good. My travel mode is I like to play a game called Oxygen Not Included on my computer while I sit on the plane, or watch a movie, or do both. But
That's when you like hold your breath until you can't hold your breath anymore.
yeah, exactly. No, it's a computer game. It's a colony management game. So you're like
Okay, yeah.
a colony on an asteroid, and you have to like manage them so they don't die. So there's a bunch of variables to manage.
Right.
It's a stupid, nerdy game, but for some reason I find it really fun.
Yeah. No, it sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone played like Roller Coaster Tycoon, so it just sounds like an advanced
It
version
is very
of that.
much an advanced version of that. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome. This is the next one.
Great. That's my little brother and me. That's me as a little chubby child Robin, and that's my younger brother who is, you know, look at that face. I can love that face. He's now much bigger than me, but yeah.
That's fair. My little brother is also now much bigger than me.
It kind of shaped my personality. I got like short man syndrome without actually being short.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of a good thing. Like I feel like Napoleon syndrome is meant to compensate, but because I'm actually kind of tall.
Right. It doesn't actually affect you as much.
Me as much. Yeah.
Was Robin your go-to character as a kid, or is it just whatever your parents had as a costume at the time?
That's a
Were
really.
those pajamas or a costume?
I think they were pajamas.
Yeah. I feel like everyone had really sick pajamas as like 90s children.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
I
no
had
doubt.
some great pajamas.
Yeah. Definitely the hockey pajamas were like a staple. I'm pretty sure it was actually just whatever my older brother had.
Oh, for sure.
So-
I still have some of my older brother's clothes from like high school.
Oh my God.
Like low-key fit
That's
me.
pretty sick.
Yeah, it's American Apparel. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't even exist anymore. And I'm like,
Whoa.
I know this is
Handmade
old.
like American fucking apparel.
Exactly. So we're going into our third drink here, which is from Bellwood's Brewery, which is the Roman Candle.
Flowery. Very flowery.
It almost tastes like a stronger version of the first one.
Yeah, I get like a bit more fruity out of that.
So my next question is, I saw that you performed in a band where you're performing video game theme songs.
Okay.
It was Donkey Kong's Jungle, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
debatably the best theme song of all time. And a Kirby one. How'd you get involved in that?
I was just asked because I think I was like 19. I was like figuring out what I was gonna do as a musician, and there was just like a community of people, and there's this guy named Jared, and he put together a little video game band.
Yeah.
There are tons of different kind of little groups that I would get involved in, but I play with other artists and stuff like that. But you know, you when you're that young, it's either you were kind of like handed a route to take. I was kind of like thinking I was going to become a jazz guitar player, or thinking maybe I would be like a rock guitar player. It wasn't really that I was going to be an artist. It was like really focused on guitar. So
Right.
Yeah.
And now
I'm an artist.
it's all over the place.
Yeah,
You know?
it's
You can do everything.
Yeah, very all over the place.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So my next question is, I know you mentioned the Canoe Brew Pub and your residency there. I wanted to hear more about that and the Heron's Bistro.
Heron Rock. Yeah.
Heron Rock Bistro.
Yeah. I loved playing at Heron Rock Bistro. I actually worked there as a bartender for a
No
while.
way.
Yeah, because
Is that how you got the gig?
No, I actually got the job because I was playing there.
There you go.
So before I started really playing full time and professionally, they were like the only place I played, and I played with my friend Julian. I played bass, and I sang with him, and I'd switch between bass and guitar, and I just loved that place because I really admired the guy who owned it, and I actually the day I quit that place, I handed in my 2 weeks notice, and I broke down crying to the manager
way.
because I was just like
I'm gonna miss this place.
This place just means so much to me. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I'm letting everybody down, and
Right.
it was such a. In retrospect, I was kind of like a mid employee, and they played me off. But I really learned a lot from that place,
Yeah.
both musically and just like what it means to be part of a community working. Yeah, it was great.
Did you learn, so part of what was the most important community lesson you learned at the bar?
I think I just learned a lot about leadership from the owner, because he was a rugby player, and I was a rugby player at the time too, and I was
Sevens?
a very good one.
15s?
Sevens, and I did a bit of union stuff, but I wasn't very good, and I really injured my knee quite early, and
Yeah.
that sucked. But he kind of gave a vibe that I really enjoyed because he was such a calm leader, like,
Right.
so collected. And whenever something was going wrong, he'd never lose his temper. He'd always just like keep an even keel, have a good sense of humor, and I just really appreciated that because I grew up in a very like hectic environment where
Right.
like, people get mad all the time, and so I learned a lot from that, just like in the way that I conduct myself in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like as a bartender, I feel like you're expecting, like you've seen everything.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen every single
First week on the
possible
job, you've seen
outcome
every
go wrong.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're, by the end of it, you're like, oh yeah, no, that's on fire. So we should probably,
Take care
put
of
that
it.
out.
Exactly.
Finally go over it.
And I heard stories of this guy where he would like throw plates at walls. He would like be like, when he was first starting at the restaurant, it was such a hectic thing. And by the time I'd met him, it was like 11 years into the whole gig. So I saw
Right.
the final product. It was very inspiring.
So my next question is, I know you took an ice bath today.
Yes.
And I know you're big on ice baths. It's funny, we just mentioned ice baths
Yeah.
before starting the interview. I was like, I can't ruin my question by bringing it up now. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into it and what it's taught you about yourself? I saw your video today. It seemed very introspective.
Yeah, it's a very introspective practice. I got into it like a couple years ago when I first moved to Toronto. I started like running outside. I started like going for lake dips. My friend Chris, who's also my engineer and producer, he's kind of part of an organization called Unbounded, and they do events, specifically a men's group that Chris sometimes leads. That's about like male vulnerability and doing things that are uncomfortable together, both emotionally and physically, and they do a lake dip. And so I did the lake dip the first time with them, and I had been running, I'd been doing a lot of cold showers, and it was just my way of getting through the winter. Like, it was literally just, when I embraced the cold, you kind of create this thing where you create like a big dip, where you
Lake dip.
You lake dip. You get really cold, and then when you get out, everything kind of feels warm. Like, you no longer feel like that annoying ambient temperature. And you get that big rush of adrenaline, and it feels like you're happy, like it's summer again. And so I kept doing that, and I just found that the cold immersion, like getting right in the water, just made me just like mainline to that feeling. So
Right.
I bought a horse trough, and I
Yeah.
put it in my backyard.
Right.
And it's been an amazing experience, just like getting up and doing it. And sometimes it's always hard, like your body always wants to resist doing it, but I'm just really gentle. I'm just like, whenever I'm ready, and then I get in, and then when I get out, I'm like so many ideas just rush into me of like what the day looks like, how it feels. It just completely flips over my day.
So you do a lot of songwriting like directly after, or a lot of journaling like directly after your ice baths with the clarity?
I do a lot of journaling, but it's mainly like very objective focused. It's not the kind of like soft stuff. Like, I do a lot of the soft stuff either before the ice bath in the morning. Normally, first thing I do is pick up a guitar,
Right.
or in the evening when I'm kind of like softened. Like, after the ice bath, I'm like go mode.
Focused,
It's
yeah.
like, here we are, like admin work,
Yeah.
finish production, do all that kind of stuff. So.
I hear it's very healthy for you to do, so.
Yeah, I just do it because it's silly.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's uncomfortable.
That's why I do the show.
Exactly. More people should do that. And it's also, I just like the way it makes me feel.
Yeah.
There's certain things that are known as healthy that I just don't like the way they make me feel, so I don't do them. But
Right.
that's one that I like.
Yeah, great. Well, we're going to go into our fourth drink here, which is Blood Brothers Brewery.
Nice.
So this is going to be an interesting one. It's 7 point something.
Damn.
7.0, right on the dot, 7%, so a little stronger. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, that's nice.
That's so nice. Very interesting. So we're going to go into this bit where we call Concrete Jungle Wing Street Tomato. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And if you know the song Concrete Jungle, Where Dreams Are Made Of,
Yeah.
it's a commonly misheard song lyric. So I want you to give me a commonly misheard song lyric that you've had in your life, or maybe a friend had and you laughed at. And if you can't think of one right away, I've got one that you can call up.
Okay. Let me think. There was one that my brother was thinking of the other day. God damn. There are like a couple of inside jokes that I have with my brother and my sister-in-law. I'm sure, but I just can't think of any right now.
You want to call it up?
No, I can't. Yeah, I want to call it up.
Yeah.
I can't think of it.
All right, so take a read of this one. Let me know if you know what song it is, just based on that. And if not, we can do a little sing-along.
See that girl, watch her scream, kicking the dancing queen. See that girl, watch her scream, kicking the dancing queen.
Amazing. Yes,
Sick.
that was the song, misheard song lyric of the day.
That's good, yeah.
One of my friends claims that "Come On Eileen," no one actually knows the lyrics, and they think they do. Like, they're like,
Come on,
oh,
Eileen, oh, this minute, you're right, dancing in this moment.
Right?
I don't know either.
and they said they tried to have the lyrics in front of them and do it at karaoke, and they couldn't even do it after like 10 attempts because the lyrics are so hard to sing along to.
Yeah.
But it just seems like a sing along, but it's not. So
100%.
it was one of those. All right. Now we're going to this bit where we call, and now we do that thing that other people do, but slightly different.
Okay.
And now we do that thing that other people do, but slightly different.
And instead of Stephen Colbert's Meanwhile, we're going to go with In the Meantime. Sometimes, just sometimes, folks, I sit right here and craft together perfectly crafted questions covered in nice crepe paper, put together in a beautiful gift box wrapped in a golden bow, which is my monthly interview. But sometimes, I dumpster dive into the garbage behind an old subway station, grab together a bunch of wet newspapers, and smush it together into the grade 4 art project that is my bit. In the meantime. In the meantime, Palpatine has somehow returned. No one knows how. He just did.
In the meantime, a study was done proving that 1 pound of steel is in fact heavier than 1 pound of feathers.
In the meantime, it is proven that Betty White has actually been the Queen of England the whole time.
In the meantime, Sharknado has touched down near you, so you can show this clip to your boss as proof that you don't need to come to work today.
So we're getting into our last drink here, which is the Durham Distillery handcrafted small batch gin, London Calling. This is 42.5%. It's a little extra boost. Cheers.
Cheers.
Woo! Good stuff.
It's good. I
Really
like it.
smooth. I will have fun drinking the rest of this bottle later.
Yeah.
I know you flew to London for a show
Yeah.
without a guitar.
Yeah.
Just hoping that you met a friend who had a guitar there. Can you tell me about maybe the stresses of doing that and how it worked out in the end?
Well, I deal well under that kind of pressure. I just love doing things like that. So I just knew it would happen. Like, I had met a friend here who told me about great jams in London. Shout out Max. And he told me about a jam, and I showed up to it. Immediately, someone else told me about another jam the second night that I went there. And the second night that I went there, I met a guy named Jack Page, who is a Kiwi who just moved to London.
Kiwis.
Kiwis.
Can't go wrong.
They're the best. He's the best dude. Cannot speak for the rest of them, but I love that guy. But he and I just hung out and had a great time. He's a really funny guy, and I just asked if I could use his guitar, and he obliged. But it wasn't like a, I was kind of hoping for like an electric guitar. or
Right.
something, But he gave me like a nylon string, like probably $100 guitar.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was that was perfect. It was just like the perfect vibe to like show up. And
Play like a bunch of Spanish music.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was great.
So I saw that your name wasn't always Kubla.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be Kubla Khan, which obviously connected to Kubla Khan, which is probably the connection to Kubla in the first place.
Exactly.
When did you drop that, and was it like a search engine analytics thing, or was it, something else?
Well, it was kind of a toss-up between a bunch of different names, because Kubla kind of came to me as an idea, and I kind of wanted to be Kubla Khan, but Kublai Khan is already a band from
Yeah.
Winnipeg. So
They did come up a lot in my research.
I
I was
bet
like,
it did.
no, not them.
not that. Fortunately, now the search engine optimization has become my friend, and that's
Nice.
great. But Kubla Khan was like a connection between my initials, which is Kalm,
Right.
and I was gonna call myself Kalm as well, but I thought that it was kind of like too like West Coast DJ to do. So
Right. It would be a good West Coast DJ name.
very good.
Like
Khan
all
with a K.
caps,
Yeah.
period after each
Yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah.
Like DANCE.
Exactly, like with a triangle as the A, like it'd be a
Amazing.
whole thing. It was a whole thing. But yeah, I chose Kubla eventually because I don't know where you found this information, but I went with Kubla eventually because I just really identified with what it meant to me. So yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming in. This has been a fantastic time. If
Thanks
you
for
want to
having me.
look at all the cameras and kind of say what you got going on in the next little bit, go ahead.
I have a single coming out today. Today, my single, The Farmer, comes out on all streaming platforms. And I have a show in Montreal. I'm playing my first show outside of Toronto.
I
in
saw
Middletown.
the poster for that with
Jack Page.
Jack Page.
With Jack Page
No
from
way!
London. The full
That's
circle.
crazy.
He's coming to Canada to hang out with me. So, yeah, so with Jack Page, expect a lot more stuff. Check out my YouTube, my Instagram, my TikTok, my writing on Substack, whatever you want to check out. I like to create stuff. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me, man.
Thanks for coming
Yeah,
in.
thanks a lot.
And not only that, is that we are having our next edition of SideBar Live, April 13th at the Monarch Tavern, and Kubla's going to be playing a set there as well. So we're very excited for that. Thanks so much for coming in. Another shout out to Steve's Music for hitting us up with his lovely wireless setup for the mic.
Steve's music is very good.
Steve's Music is very good as well. And for Pretty Good Teas for supplying the t-shirts, and Freshly Baked Teas for helping us out making them. This is our newest Marvel star, Ruben Rabasa. He was in the new Ant-Man movie, but also in some of my favorite bits of all time. So shout out Ruben Rabasa. He's the best guy. If you don't know him, look him up. He's amazing. Thanks so much, and stay tuned for a live track from Kubla. Thanks.
This is The Farmer as played on the guitar it was written on, which is also my ex-girlfriend's guitar. So listen to it on Spotify or wherever you like to listen to music. It's called The Farmer. I got trees bearing fruit. Don't know what that means to you, but you give me something. Yeah. Crazy dreams about you. And if you need some proof, come on, give me something. Ooh, I just want you to know that I ain't got time for losing my mind. 'Cause I'm a busy man working with his hands. I said, if you want control, don't come around to my house no more. 'Cause I'm not playing games with you, no, yeah. I'm not playing games with you, yeah. Yeah, ooh, yeah, no. And early days losing sleep, but I've got all I need 'cause you give me something, yeah. And all my crops will be dry, 'cause when I'm out of time I give them nothing, yeah. Ooh, I just want you to know that I ain't got time for losing my mind. 'Cause I'm a busy man working with his hands, yeah. Said if you want control, don't come around to my house no more. 'Cause I'm not playing games with you, now my baby. I'm not playing games with you, yeah. I said if you want control, don't come around to my house no more. 'Cause I'm not playing games with you, no. I'm not playing games with you, yeah. And I'm not playing games with you. I'm not playing games with you. Yo.